love my apartment. I love the size of my apartment. I live on the balcony. I'm looking at the view of the best place in the world to be. I see the monument, the Capitol, and it's my city.
Marbury Plaza is a large historic building in D.C. A number of D.C. residents rely on Marbury Plaza to have affordable housing for themselves and their families. Unfortunately, in recent years, there's been a lot of neglect of that property, and it's fallen into serious disrepair.
You know, it's terrible to walk down the street and somebody's like, you know, having a conversation is like, oh, I live in Marbury Plaza. Like, oh, bless your heart.
The tenants that were living at Marbury Plaza were forced to live in deplorable, unacceptable, unlawful conditions. Mold infestations of rodents and insects, elevators and other building systems not working.
Walls cracking, paint peeling, a lot of unsafe conditions for the tenants.
I had over 45 major floods in my unit.
Everything that I've never been through in my 40, 50 years of living, all of a sudden happened. I've been through a fire. The fire brought the mice brought the bed bugs brought the roaches. It was terrible. It was terrible, you know. So finally got things settled down where they are now, and guess what? Last year, another fire on the 10th floor.
And there's no reason why we should be going months without heat.
This was a property that really had deteriorated seriously, and the tenants had been fighting for years, trying to get the owner, trying to get the government to pay attention.
As a result, the Office of the Attorney General sued the owner of Marbury Plaza. But instead of doing what they should do and repair the building, Marbury Plaza declared bankruptcy.
We didn't even get a notice saying that the building was going to be sold. So we lost our TOPA rights.
All of those tenants then became claimants in bankruptcy court. And in order to recover the money that they were owed, they had to go through the bankruptcy process.
Rosa and Marjorie and the Arnold and Porter team were essential for this case. While legal aid has worked on bankruptcy matters before, it is very complex.
In some cases, the legal aid lawyers are the stars. And in this case, it was definitely the tenants of Marbury Plaza.
And there was obviously, a core group, but that core group was really advocating on behalf of everybody's interest and thinking about things that were not necessarily even impacting them, but maybe impacting their neighbor.
They were putting up flyers, they were knocking on other tenants' doors, they were sitting out in the lobby at tables, passing out information, explaining over and over again exactly what was happening in the property.
And so these tenant leaders were so persistent and brave, coming to court for hearings. They went to the council and testified. They came to public events and would protest to government officials.
It was important that we all act for that one lady that may end up in the street with those 3 children. So no matter what, we were fighting together to make sure that nobody got kicked out, that the repairs would be done and bring the building up to standards. It hopefully would come back to a place of enjoyment, a place that, people take pride in.
If this ad hoc committee hadn't come together and if Legal Aid and Arnold and Porter hadn't gotten involved in this bankruptcy case, the outcome could have been much worse. Tenants could have been left with no compensation for the conditions that they had experienced.
Legal Aid stayed with us step by step, inch by inch. No, we didn't win it all, but we won something. That let them know that we got someone and somebody that do care, and that's the legal aid.
We ultimately reached a global resolution that provided some protection for tenants that had engaged in the bankruptcy.
That agreement covered tenants who had been withholding rent because of the very bad conditions in their properties. It addressed what happened to people who were facing eviction, often because they'd been withholding rent. And it also ensured that tenants' leases carried over to the new owner, that all their rights were protected and that none of their rights were jeopardized when that sale happened.
When Legal Aid came on board and they brought us together as an actual committee, as a group, people was like, okay, there are people actually here that are gonna fight for us. I'm gonna stay. I love my home, I love my community, I love the people that are here, and Legal Aid helped with that.
They explain things and they listen. When you have someone that listens, like Legal Aid listen, like I said, they the best.
Sometimes we enter our clients' lives in very discrete moments and are able to do something for them. This was a case where we got to know a community of tenants that have been in this fight for a long time, will continue to be in this fight.
Honestly, this fight was to get healthier living conditions for us. It wasn't about monetary value. People love their place.
I stay here because, again, I love where I live at, and I fight for the tenants.
I'm tired of fighting. I just want to live in my home. But I'm gonna stay here and I want to fight because I love my home and it's not right. Legal Aid helped bring us together with the crew. I think we built a nice little fighting team to help continue on with the struggle.